Welcome to District Command Central, your go-to source for the latest news and updates on the Washington Commanders. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a play. Is Brian Robinson Jr. one of the most underrated running backs in the NFL? That's the question fans and analysts are starting to ask as the Washington Commanders gear up for a critical season. Robinson, now 26, is stepping into the final year of his rookie contract, and it couldn't come at a more pivotal moment. Not only is he returning as a starting running back for Washington, but he's doing so in a revamped offense led by new coordinator Cliff Kingsbury and joined by new pieces like Austin Ekeler and Deebo Samuel. Last season, Robinson posted a career-high 799 rushing yards and found the end zone 8 times, numbers that reflect growth yet leave room for another level. This year, he'll have every chance to hit that level. But despite that momentum and the expectations surrounding him, NFL Network analyst Morris Jones-Drew seems unconvinced, ranking Robinson only 21st among the league's 32 starting running backs. That feels like a snub. When Morris Jones-Drew released his rankings, eyebrows were raised across the league, especially in Washington. Robinson, who proved to be a durable, physical, and productive force last season, found himself outside the league's top 20 starting backs. That placement raised serious questions. Was Jones-Drew underestimating the Commanders' workhorse? Or does he believe Robinson lacks the explosiveness and versatility to break into the elite tier? Robinson not only had his most productive season in 2024, but he did it behind a struggling offensive line and on a team that finished far out of playoff contention. And yet, he stayed consistent. He absorbed hits, kept the chains moving, and served as a tone setter in the offense. Now, with reinforcements up front and a new scheme tailored to open running lanes, Robinson has the chance to go from solid to special. But if you ask Jones-Drew, 21st is where Robinson belongs, for now at least. What makes this ranking even more puzzling is who Jones-Drew placed behind Robinson. Among the names listed were players like Isaiah Pacheco from the Super Bowl champion, Kansas City Chiefs, and Travis Etienne of the Jacksonville Jaguars, both of whom have shown explosiveness and proven value in different ways. Even Tony Pollard, who has shouldered lead-back duties before, found himself ranked lower than Robinson. That suggests that either Jones-Drew sees untapped potential in Robinson, or he views others as declining or too one-dimensional. But Robinson has a well-rounded skill set. He's a bruising runner who can wear down defenses, and he's shown flashes of ability as a receiver out of the backfield. His role might grow even more in 2025 with Deebo Samuel potentially splitting touches, but the Commanders staff appears to trust Robinson to handle the bulk of early down work. That confidence is something rankings can't quantify, but production eventually will. Cliff Kingsbury, the new offensive coordinator, has had nothing but praise for Robinson throughout the offseason. Known for his wide-open, up-tempo style, Kingsbury could finally unlock the full potential of Washington's offense, and Robinson could be the biggest beneficiary. While many assume Kingsbury will air it out, his past offenses have always leaned on a strong ground game to keep defenses honest. Robinson's ability to handle heavy workloads between the tackles, pick up tough yards, and keep the offense on schedule could make him indispensable. He's not just a placeholder until someone flashier comes along. He's a back with real value. And with Ekeler likely serving in a third down and passing game role, Robinson's job as the primary rusher should remain intact. In fact, this could be the ideal system for him. Spread defenses out, then punish them with Robinson up the gut. That's a formula that wins games and earns respect. Still, the stakes have never been higher for Robinson. Entering a contract year, every carry, every yard, and every touchdown will be evaluated not just by the Commanders, but by teams around the league. If he produces, he could secure a long-term deal, either in Washington or elsewhere. If he struggles or loses touches to Ekeler, Deebo, or even backup Chris Rodriguez Jr., his market could dry up fast. The NFL doesn't wait long for running backs to bloom. Most don't even get a second contract. But Robinson has already shown he's durable and productive even under suboptimal conditions. This year is about proving he can be more than just a solid contributor. He has to be a difference maker. And while fans might believe in him, it's clear national analysts like Jones-Drew still need convincing. That's not necessarily a bad thing. Some players thrive with a chip on their shoulder. Robinson might just be one of them. What's clear is that Robinson's value to the Commanders extends beyond the stat sheet. He's a tone setter in the locker room and on the field. A tough physical runner who isn't afraid to lower his shoulder or run through defenders. He brings a mentality that Washington's offense desperately needs. While flashier backs might get more highlights, Robinson provides the grit. That's not easily replaced. And with a young quarterback likely under center, having a steady, dependable runner to lean on is priceless. The Commanders know this, which is why they haven't shied away from giving Robinson first-team reps throughout OTAs and minicamp. Kingsbury's offense will have his share of fireworks, but Robinson's role will be to keep things grounded, literally and figuratively. And if he can stay healthy and productive, that 21st ranking will look more like a mistake than a fair assessment by the time the season is over. Training camp begins July 22nd, and that's when the real evaluation starts. For Robinson, it's not just about making the team or earning reps. He's already the starter. It's about solidifying himself as a foundational piece in Washington's long-term plans. He has to show that he can thrive not just in a new offensive system, but in a backfield that's now more crowded than ever. With Austin Eckler known for his pass catching and change of pace ability, the coaching staff might be tempted to lean into a committee approach. But Robinson has the inside track and the trust of his coaches. He needs to seize every opportunity, every carry, and every snap like it's a job interview, because it is. This is his moment to prove he belongs among the league's top backs, regardless of what the preseason rankings say. And for a player who's already overcome so much in his career, betting against Robinson feels risky. Let's not forget Robinson's journey to this point. Coming into the league as a physical downhill runner out of Alabama, he faced immediate adversity. In 2022, just months after being drafted, he was the victim of a shooting that forced him to miss the start of his rookie year. But he came back. He played, he produced, and he's continued to improve each season since. That kind of resilience doesn't show up in fantasy stats or analytic models, but it matters. It shows toughness, commitment, and character. Those are the traits that turn good players into great pros. And while his career numbers so far, just under 800 yards and 8 scores last season, might not scream superstar, they paint the picture of a player on the rise. And with the right system, line, and opportunity, Robinson has everything he needs to break through and command the respect he's clearly not receiving yet from national voices like Jones-Drew. What would a breakout season look like for Robinson? In 2025, think 1,200 yards, double-digit touchdowns, and a consistent presence in both phases of the offense. He doesn't need to be Christian McCaffrey or Nick Chubb to earn respect. He just needs to prove that he can be relied upon week in and week out. That starts with consistency. Too often rankings like Jones-Drew's are skewed by one big game or highlight. Robinson's game is built on reliability, not flash. That doesn't make him less valuable. In fact, it may make him more so in a league where health and durability at running back are becoming increasingly rare. If he can stay on the field, take advantage of Washington's improved blocking, and earn the trust of Kingsbury, there's no reason he can't finish the year in the top 10. Or at least far ahead of the 21st spot where he's been slotted. Let's hear the opportunity is there. It's on Robinson this season. As the countdown to training camp ticks down, all eyes in Washington will be on Brian Robinson Jr. And rightfully so. This is more than just a season. It's a defining moment in his career. With his contract set to expire, a new coaching staff in place, and heightened competition in the backfield, every snap will matter. Jones-Drew might not see Robinson as a top-tier back yet, but rankings don't define players. Production does. Leadership does. Grit does. And if Robinson delivers on all those fronts this year, he won't just earn a new contract, he'll earn the respect of everyone who doubted him. Maybe, just maybe, being underrated is exactly what he needs. Because if Robinson runs with the same purpose he's shown his entire career, we might be talking about one of the best stories in football come season's end. Don't count him out. He's just getting started. If you're enjoying the coverage, make sure to smash that like button and drop a comment with your thoughts on the Commanders' latest moves. We want to hear from you. Zadarius Smith is shaking the foundations of the NFC East, and the NFL world is buzzing with a move that no one saw coming. In what can only be described as a shocking twist during the dog days of the offseason, multiple insiders and league observers are whispering about a potential deal between Smith and the Washington Commanders. Though nothing has been officially confirmed yet, sources close to the situation have indicated that talks have been heating up over the last week. And now the rumor mill is spinning faster than ever. The possibility of a high-impact edge rusher like Zadarius landing in Washington is sending chills through opposing quarterbacks and drawing curious eyes from across the league. The Commanders, long seeking a defensive identity under their new regime, might finally be piecing together a terrifying front that could redefine their season trajectory. This isn't just a minor move. It could be a defining moment. Zadarius Smith, a two-time Pro Bowler known for his explosiveness and disruptive presence off the edge, has never been one to fly under the radar. Yet somehow, this potential Commanders deal has stayed remarkably quiet until now. Could it be that Washington has been working behind the scenes to secure what might be one of the biggest free agent coups of the summer? That's exactly what some are suggesting. Smith, who was with the Cleveland Browns last season and produced solid numbers despite limited snaps, appears to be looking for a fresh opportunity where he can return to his dominant role as a full-time starter. And with Washington in desperate need of leadership and firepower on defense, this could be a marriage that makes perfect sense for both sides. It's a classic case of the right player at the right time, possibly joining a team hungry for resurgence, and it's got everyone talking. The Commanders' defense, once feared across the league, has struggled in recent years to regain that punishing form it displayed during the peak of the Ron Rivera era. With Rivera now out and a new front office looking to make a splash, this potential move for Zadarius Smith might symbolize more than just a roster addition. It could be the first stamp of a new philosophy. Insiders are hinting that this deal, if it happens, is being driven by a desire to bring a new energy into the locker room, one that matches the aggressive mentality of the franchise's evolving identity. And there's no better way to do that than to sign a guy who can put fear into offensive coordinators. Smith isn't just a pass rusher. He's a tone setter, the kind of veteran presence that can help mold young defenders and create a culture of accountability and dominance up front. What's even more intriguing is how this rumored deal could affect the dynamics within the NFC East. With the Cowboys, Eagles, and Giants all maintaining strong defensive fronts of their own, Washington has often been seen as lagging behind in the arms race. But if Zadarius Smith were to suit up in burgundy and gold, that narrative could quickly change. Suddenly, the Commanders' defense might look more balanced, more threatening, especially when paired with emerging talents like Jamin Davis and the ever-reliable Darren Payne. And let's not forget Montez Sweat is no longer in the building, which leaves a massive hole on the edge. Smith could not only fill that void, but elevate the entire front seven. It's moves like this that can swing division games and flip playoff pictures. And if Washington pulls this off, the rest of the division better take notice. Of course, nothing in the NFL is guaranteed until ink meets paper, but the signals coming out of Ashburn are becoming harder and harder to ignore. There are whispers that Smith has already visited team facilities under the radar and has met with defensive coaches about scheme fits. The word is that he's excited by the vision being laid out, one where he wouldn't just be a cog in the machine, but a featured weapon. For a veteran player who still has plenty left in the tank, that kind of role is hard to turn down. And Washington, looking to inject experience and stability into its locker room, seems more than ready to make a serious offer. If this rumor proves true, it won't just be a smart move. It could be the kind of transaction that energizes an entire fan base and brings belief back to the nation's capital. You also have to consider the message a signing like this sends to the rest of the league. For years, Washington has been seen as a team in transition, new ownership, shifting coaching staff, a carousel at quarterback. But now, if they manage to land Zadarius Smith, it tells everyone that the Commanders aren't content to rebuild. Slowly, they want to compete now. It signals a certain seriousness, a refusal to be seen as the division's doormat any longer. This isn't just about sacks and pressures. It's about culture, swagger, and a new direction. Smith, with his intensity and big game experience, could serve as the cornerstone of a defensive resurgence. And that's something Washington desperately needs as it prepares for a season where expectations might not be high from the outside, but where big moves like this could change everything inside the building. From a financial perspective, the deal would need to be smart. Zadarius Smith is a veteran with a proven track record, but he's also in the later stage of his career, which means value and structure matter. Sources suggest the Commanders are discussing a 2-year deal laden with performance incentives, allowing Smith to prove his worth while protecting the team's long-term flexibility. This type of contract could be the perfect compromise. A win-win for both player and organization. It gives Smith the motivation to perform at his peak while allowing Washington to manage their cap responsibly. And let's not forget the Commanders have been shedding salary in recent months, freeing up space for precisely this kind of calculated splash. If they can thread that needle, bringing in Smith could become a textbook example of how to rebuild. Smart without sacrificing competitiveness. Fans, naturally, are already buzzing with speculation. Social media has lit up in recent days with photoshopped images of Smith in a Commander's uniform. And the comments are full of hope, hype, and cautious optimism. Some are calling it the biggest defensive acquisition since Josh Norman. Others are drawing comparisons to when Washington brought in London Fletcher years ago, a veteran leader who changed the face of the defense. It's too early to know if this deal is actually done or still in the works, but the excitement is real. And in a league where perception often shapes momentum, this kind of buzz can be invaluable. The fans are ready for a new chapter. They've seen enough rebuilds, enough mediocrity. A player like Zadarius Smith gives them something to believe in. A tangible sign that maybe, just maybe, this year won't be like all the others. It's also worth noting how this potential signing could influence the locker room chemistry. Smith is known not just for his play, but for his voice. He's a leader in every sense. Vocal, emotional, and professional. In a young team still trying to find his voice under new leadership, having a guy like that in the building can be a game changer. Players listen when veterans with playoff experience speak. Smith has battled through injuries, switched teams, and still managed to produce at a high level. That kind of resilience is infectious, and it's exactly what Washington could use as it tries to shift the tone inside the franchise. With new blood at the top and a new quarterback situation still developing, steadying forces are more valuable than ever. Whether he signs or not, just the idea of Smith joining the team is already shifting perceptions, and that matters. So here we are, nothing confirmed, but the noise is deafening. Zadarius Smith to the Washington Commanders might still be in the realm of possibility, but it's a possibility that feels more real with each passing hour. The whispers are getting louder. The signs are starting to align, and if this deal gets done, the impact will be felt far beyond the defensive line. It will ripple through the locker room, the coaching staff, the fans, and perhaps even the standings in the NFC East. Washington hasn't made many bold moves in recent years, but this could be a turning point, a signal to the league that they are not just rebuilding, they're coming. And if Zadarius Smith really does put pen to paper, then the rest of the NFC East better brace themselves. Because a storm could be brewing in Washington, and Smith might be the lightning bolt at the center of it. Thanks for tuning into District Command Central. Make sure to subscribe and follow us for all the Commanders news you need. Until next time, keep the faith and hail to the Commanders.